Every single moral belief you hold, every value you think is yours, every judgment you make about right and wrong, was designed by someone else. And here is the terrifying part. You were never supposed to find out who designed it or why. In the late 19th century, a German philosopher with a devastating mustache and an even more devastating intellect dropped a bomb on Western civilization. Friedrich Nietzsche looked at 2,000 years of moral tradition and declared it a battlefield. Not a battlefield of armies, but of something far more dangerous. Values, power, control. He saw two types of morality locked in an eternal war, one created by the strong to celebrate life, the other created by the weak to chain the strong, and beside that one, it shaped everything you believe today. As Nietzsche himself warned, there are no moral phenomena at all, only moral interpretations of phenomena. Tonight we crack open the vault on the most dangerous moral theory ever written. By the end, you will never look at your own values the same way again. Here is what they never taught you in school. Morality did not fall from the sky. It was not etched into the fabric of the universe by some cosmic hand. Morality was invented, manufactured, engineered by human beings with very specific agendas. And the people who built your moral code did not have your best interests at heart. Think about it, you were raised to believe that humility is a virtue, that meekness is noble, that turning the other cheek makes you morally superior. But have you ever stopped to ask who benefits from you being meek? Who profits when you suppress your ambitions, your strength, your will to rise? Nietzsche asked this question in the 1880s, and the answer he found shook the foundations of Western thought. He traced the origins of morality not to divine revelation, not to rational philosophy, but to something far more primal. Morality was born from the struggle between the powerful and the powerless. Every ethical system, every religious commandment, every social norm you follow today is the product of this invisible war. Power, resentment, control. And Nietzsche was about to show us exactly how that war was fought. But first, we need to understand the two armies on this battlefield. Nietzsche called the first type master morality, and no, this has nothing to do with slavery in the literal sense. Master morality was the value system of the strong, the noble, the creators. Think of the ancient Greek aristocrats, the Roman warriors, the Renaissance artists. These people looked at life and said, yes. They said yes to strength, to beauty, to excellence, to power. In master morality, good means everything that elevates life. Courage, creativity, ambition, pride, self-mastery. Bad simply means everything that is weak, common, and mediocre. The noble soul has reverence for itself. The masters did not need permission to value themselves. They did not wait for a priest or a philosopher to tell them they mattered. They knew it in their bones. As Nietzsche wrote, what is noble, that one is willing to sacrifice everything for one's passions. The master creates values from abundance, from overflow, from a love of life so fierce it cannot be contained. They look at the world and see a canvas for greatness. If this ancient vision of nobility is stirring something deep inside you, hit like and subscribe to unlock more treasures from the vault. Because what comes next reveals the force that crushed this vision, and that force still controls you today. Now here is where Nietzsche drops his most controversial bomb. The second moral system, slave morality, did not emerge from strength. It was born from resentment. Imagine you are powerless, you cannot fight the masters. You cannot match their strength, their beauty, their achievements, so what do? You change the rules of the game entirely. You declare that strength is evil, pride is sinful, ambition is dangerous, and suddenly your weakness becomes a virtue, your suffering becomes holy, your inability to fight back becomes moral superiority. Weakness becomes virtue. Nietzsche called this the slave revolt in morality, and he argued it was the most successful revolution in human history. Not a revolution of swords and armies, but of ideas and values. The slaves could not defeat the masters physically, so instead they defeated them psychologically. They convinced the entire world that being strong is wrong and being weak is righteous. As Nietzsche put it with surgical precision, the slave revolt in morality begins when resentment itself becomes creative and gives birth to values. This was not just a historical event. This is the operating system running inside your mind right now, and it leads us to the mechanism that made it all possible. Nietzsche had a special word for the psychological engine behind slave morality. He called it ressentiment, the French word for a deep, festering resentment that poisons everything it touches. Ressentiment is not simple anger. Anger is honest. Anger says, I am hurt and I want to fight back. Ressentiment is something far darker. It is the bitterness of someone who wants to fight back but cannot. So instead of confronting the strong, the resentful person transforms their impotence into a moral framework. They say, I am not weak, I am humble, I do not lack ambition, I am selfless, I did not fail to conquer, I chose peace. Every virtue you were taught may be someone else's inability, repackaged as righteousness. Think about how many times you have been told that wanting more is greedy, that standing out is arrogant, that competing to win is toxic. Nietzsche would say these are not moral truths. They are the psychological projections of people who could not compete, could not stand out, could not win. Envy disguised as ethics. And the most powerful institution in history adopted this psychology as its foundation. That institution changed everything. Nietzsche pointed directly at Christianity as the greatest triumph of slave morality. And before you react, understand what he actually meant. Inversion. He was not attacking individual believers. He was analyzing how an entire civilization's values were flipped upside down. In the ancient world, the strong were admired, wealth was respected, beauty was celebrated, power was honored. Then Christianity arrived and reversed every single one of these values. The meek shall inherit the earth, blessed are the poor in spirit, the last shall be first. 1. Strength became sin. 2. Humility became supreme virtue. 3. Suffering became sacred. 4. Worldly success became suspicious. Nietzsche saw this as the ultimate act of ressentiment on a civilizational scale. The powerless did not seize the throne. They did something far more brilliant. They convinced the powerful that sitting on the throne was morally wrong, as he wrote with characteristic intensity. Christianity gave Eros poison to drink. He did not die of it, but degenerated into vice. Now, whether you agree with Nietzsche or not, you cannot deny the power of this observation. The values you inherited were designed to keep you tame. But this moral revolution had consequences far beyond religion. It reshaped the very meaning of good and evil. Here is a distinction most people miss entirely. In master morality, the primary concept is good. Good means noble, strong, life-affirming. Its opposite, bad, simply means common, weak, pitiable. There is no hatred in it. The master looks at the weak and feels, at worst, mild contempt or pity. Noble, strong life. But in slave morality, the primary concept is evil. Evil means powerful, dominating, threatening. Its opposite, good, means humble, suffering, obedient, and here is the critical difference. Slave morality is born in hatred of the other, while master morality barely notices the other at all. The master says, I am good, therefore what is unlike me is bad. The slave says, you are evil, therefore I who am unlike you must be good. One creates values from self-affirmation. The other creates values from opposition. One morality creates from love of self. The other creates from hatred of the other. This is why Nietzsche found slave morality so psychologically destructive. It defines itself entirely in reaction to what it hates. It cannot exist without an enemy, and this reactive psychology did not stay in ancient history. It infected the modern world in ways Nietzsche predicted with terrifying accuracy. Nietzsche watched slave morality evolve into something even more insidious in the modern age. He called it herd morality. Once you convince an entire civilization that strength is dangerous and conformity is good, you create a society that actively punishes anyone who dares to be exceptional. Think about your own life for a moment. Have you ever had a dream you did not pursue because people would think you were arrogant? Have you ever dimmed your light to make others comfortable? Have you ever pretended to want less than you actually wanted because wanting more felt somehow wrong? That is herd morality operating inside you right now. The herd does not want heroes, it wants company. It does not want excellence, it wants equality of mediocrity. Conform, obey, submit. As Nietzsche observed with devastating clarity, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. Every time you suppress your authentic self to fit in, every time you apologize for your ambition, every time you feel guilty for wanting greatness, the herd wins. And you lose a piece of who you were meant to be. But Nietzsche did not stop at diagnosis, he offered a way out. The solution Nietzsche proposed was not to simply return to master morality. That would be going backward. What he envisioned was something far more radical. Transcendent. He wanted us to go beyond good and evil entirely, beyond the master-slave binary, beyond inherited morality of any kind. Nietzsche dreamed of a new kind of human being, the Übermensch, the overman, someone who creates their own values based not on resentment, not on domination, but on a profound love of life itself. The overman does not ask what is permitted. The overman asks what is worthy. This is not about becoming a tyrant or abandoning compassion. It is about refusing to live by values you never consciously chose. It is about examining every belief you hold and asking, did I choose this or was it installed in me? Do I value humility because it genuinely resonates with my soul or because I was taught to fear my own strength? True morality begins the moment you stop inheriting values and start creating them. As Nietzsche wrote in one of his most quoted passages, "You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star." The chaos he speaks of is the willingness to question everything, and that questioning leads to the most liberating idea Nietzsche ever conceived. Nietzsche called his ultimate project the revaluation of all values, not destruction, revaluation. Question, examine, rebuild. He wanted every human being to take every single moral belief they held and put it on trial, not to become amoral or nihilistic, but to become the author of your own moral code rather than a passive inheritor of someone else's. Think about this right now. What do you actually believe, not what your parents told you, not what society expects, not what your culture programmed into you? What do you, after examining all the evidence, after experiencing life in all its beauty and horror, actually choose to value? Most people never ask this question. They live their entire lives running moral software they never installed themselves. They feel guilty for desires they never examined. They suppress ambitions they never questioned. They worship virtues they never tested. An unexamined morality is a prison you built with your own hands. Nietzsche was not asking you to abandon all values. He was asking you to own them, to earn them, to forge them in the fire of your own lived experience. And this brings us to the most important question of all. So here is the question that should keep you awake tonight. Which morality is running your life? And did you choose it, or was it chosen for you? Do you celebrate your strength, or do you apologize for it? Do you value yourself because of what you create, or do you measure yourself by how much you sacrifice? Do you pursue excellence because it fulfills you, or do you hold yourself back because someone told you ambition was dangerous? The hidden war behind every ethical system is not just a philosophical abstraction. It is happening inside you right now, every time you feel guilty for succeeding, every time you resent someone who has more, every time you mistake obedience for virtue or rebellion for vice. The war between master and slave morality is being fought inside your own mind. Nietzsche did not want you to pick a side in this war. He wanted you to recognize it, because recognition is the first step to freedom. See, question, choose. The moment you see the moral code you have been running, you finally have the power to rewrite it, not to become cruel, not to abandon compassion, but to become the conscious author of your own values for the first time in your life. Nietzsche saw what most of us refuse to see, that morality is not a fixed star in the sky. It is a human invention, shaped by power, resentment, and the eternal struggle between those who create and those who react. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Understanding master and slave morality is not about becoming heartless or abandoning ethics. It is about waking up to the invisible forces that shaped your values before you could think for yourself, waking up to the resentment disguised as virtue, waking up to the guilt installed in you by people who feared your potential. Intellectual freedom begins the moment you stop obeying values you never chose. The real question was never whether master morality or slave morality is right. The real question is whether your morality is yours. If you made it this far, comment revalue to prove you are among the few willing to examine the code running their lives. Question everything, choose wisely. The wisdom of the ages is yours, use it well.